Hello, I am Bentham. Welcome back to Railworld, where we have not finished. You may have thought we have, but no, there's still more to do. Most of all, we need to try and work on getting a railway around the lake. Everyone keeps asking for it. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then they keep asking for it some more, which is weird. But anyway, let's get on with it. You may have noticed that my voice is different. I'm using a new microphone. If you didn't watch No Crafting Challenge, that was where I used it first. But anyway, what we need to do is fix all of the stuff that got messed up last episode, because of course before I went, there's a soul biter attack there, some straggler from the ones chasing me, I guess. But yeah, in the last episode, before we went on our big journey, I dumped my inventory everywhere and made a complete mess, and now I need to fix it. And there's also a ton of stuff in my inventory that shouldn't be there. I've got a tank, I think I may have just built that one, but I need to replace that anyway. There's a random assembler for shields in the middle of the conveyor belts, which is no good. And I've just got loads of random weaponry and all bits and bobs that need clearing out. There's a ton of wood that needs putting somewhere, so I go over to the place where wood is stored. I've also got some engines that need getting rid of. And basically this is what I do for the first little bit of the episode, is just try and get my inventory a little bit clear so that I can actually fit things in it and operate normally. So there's some ore over here to put in the furnaces and such. And then we have another biter attack. This time there's 3 little alarms go off, but there's nothing been damaged, so I guess it's just another, just a little group of biters that have come along as a little offshoot of the attacking force. I'm not really sure how that'll work, because I thought that if a biter started chasing you, then he would never stop, but they all just have frozen out there. And one day, if I go back there, they'll all awaken and charge at me, but this time I will be ready for them, because I will actually have some weaponry on me at the time, rather than just running along with a couple of destroyer drones and nothing else. But anyway, I'm just fixing all my logistics now, getting it so that everything I need is delivered again. And I'm adding in a couple more things as well, actually. I think I'm having all of the different types of modules delivered. I'm having various conveyor belt based things delivered. I'm making more use of the logistics stuff, because I didn't use it for half the stuff that I could do. But anyway, we'll go over to this stone thing, because it's something I want to do here today. We need to get this all mined. I want to get mining drills covering the whole thing. No little biter attack there, just one little alarm, so there's probably one that got immediately shot and killed. So we're just going to put this mining drill here, and then what we need to do is shift all of this along by 1 square, annoyingly, to keep it all fitting nicely. So I just have to empty it out the chest and then dump it into the other chest. And I'm going to keep that as the provider chest that delivers raw stone straight to me. But then what I'm also going to do is have some mining drills that just generally mine the stone. So I get all these in place. Another little biter attack, they got into the base that time, but they didn't do any damage before they got destroyed. Some turrets that I've plonked in the middle dealt with them nicely. Going to put some efficiency modules in all of the mining drills. And then what we need to do is siphon off some iron for our purposes. So just working out where to position things, and decide to just set something up above the tracks here, out of the way of everything. There is a car in the way, we'll have to move that out of the way. It's a bit weird how the colour suddenly changes when you hop on board. I suppose that makes sense, because people can just swap it any time. By the way, if you can hear the logistics bots, they're just being really annoying right now and continually getting in and out of the roboport next to me over and over again. And anyway, we'll get this iron going in here, and then on one side we need to put in some power for it first. Get that connected up, and then on one side, of course, it's being turned into steel, because that's what happens when you smelt iron. And on the other side, we are making some iron sticks. Then we need to get these both on belts and get them combined up. But I decided to go back over to the main base for a second. I've donned the normal armor because I need to stop wearing the combat armor all the time. People are getting annoyed with all the green and such. Anyway, I've run out of conveyor belts. So seeing as I've now set up the logistics system to deliver them to me normally, I might as well set up a little provider chest to deliver the conveyor belts straight to me, and I don't have to craft them anymore, which is good, because I'm always crafting conveyor belts, and even though it takes no time at all to make one, when you're making a lot for anything, the time adds up and you end up waiting around for it all to be made and everything. So anyway, we're getting all of these belts combined. I'm not sure what I was thinking here. I was trying to get them to combine and then go alongside each other, and I sort of missed. And then I put the iron bars onto, well, not iron bars. What are they? Iron poles? What? I can't remember what those things are called now. Did I name them 2 seconds ago? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter, because what we're going to do is we're going to get them all going into these assemblers here, and the purpose of these assemblers is, of course, to make rails. And so we've got the straight rails and the curved rails, and they're just going to unload into all of these chests here. And you can see immediately all of the steel runs down, so it looks like I'm going to have to get in a little bit of help from elsewhere. So we stick a splitter on the steel production area thing to just siphon some off to make use elsewhere. So we just have to use some underground belts to get under all these bits and bobs that are in the way, and then we're going to go over to where we're producing steel, and we're just going to add them onto the line. And that way we'll have some sort of dedicated steel production for the rails. They're just rails, but we will also have some it will be supplemented by the main steel production. So I just have to shift everything along one to make room for the belt, and then there we go, nice big long supply of steel, and that should be enough to keep rail production happy for a while. Half of it can't even get onto the belt, so I put in a blue belt just to help with that. You see it's nicely built up and all going well there. We'll put in some efficiency modules in places. I think there's a couple of places in this episode where I actually forget to put efficiency modules in, though I don't know if it matters at this point because we have such good production of power already and so on. And also the biters are millions of miles away at this point. I've cleared them out from all the nearby areas. But after a quick inspection of the rate at which things go, I decided to do a little tweak, and I'm going to shift things over and have things loaded in on either side of the assembler so that we can get more inserters supplying each thing. So we can make it look a bit nicer as well. Have them both being loaded into that middle bit there. We'll shift along the substation, and then we get 5 inserters loading all of this stuff into it. I don't think it needs quite that much, but it's to make sure that it's definitely able to run at full capacity. We've replaced the blue belts again. It's all going nice, and we're getting lots of lovely rails produced nice and quick. And after a while we will have enough to start working on the big super rail that will go around the lake. Anyway, I'll make my way back to main base. You may have spotted that steel was actually suffering a little bit there. The supply was a bit down, and we might have to do something about that later. But what I decided to do is go over to module production. Everything looks fine there. It doesn't seem to be moving really. And what we're going to do is we're going to add on another little bit of production here. The only reason this is here is because it uses advanced circuits and processing units, so it makes sense. And what we're going to do is make some shield production, because I'm fed up with making shields manually. It is a pain because they're really, really slow, so we might as well just plonk that stuff down and get that all nicely sorted. And it'll just run itself from now on. We'll get a little requested chest here for the steel that is required for the basic shields. And then the advanced shields, all they need is some processing units and such. And that's all sorted there, so we'll move on to our next thing. You can see there's a bunch of robots flying overhead at the moment to deliver ridiculous amounts of coal and such to the tank. I do realise that the entire cargo thing of the tank fills up with materials because that's how it works. But I don't care, I'm just going to let that happen, because at the moment, you know, with the science no longer operating, we've researched everything there is. The factory needs a purpose, and so we might as well let stuff go to waste, to be honest, to keep things running, because part of the fun of this factory is making it so that it can keep up with production, and that's what we're having to do right now, because all of the steel has run down, and we've actually had to put in a bunch more furnaces to keep the steel production going, enough for all these rails, because those assemblers hoover it up so fast that you really need to supply it quickly, and the furnaces aren't that quick when it comes to producing steel. I have a ton of spare steel in my inventory right now, so I can dump that in, and that will boost things nicely. But you can see it's even running down the main line now. So much is being siphoned off for the rail production that the main line doesn't get enough to keep everything going. Anyway, we've also got a ton of advanced circuits to unload because they're just sat there not doing anything. We've also got some alien artifacts as well, and then we'll go back over to the smelting, see how things are going there. And you can see that there's quite a few furnaces on now. It's not like the factory was in its heyday, but it's good. Anyway, over here this stuff is probably never going to be needed again, so I'm just deconstructing the last remaining bits of that half of the copper production, because there's barely any circuit production now at this base, and we don't really need any copper anymore apart from for the advanced circuits, and one column will be more than enough for that. Anyway, we're over at the oil outpost now. I'm going to check up on things because it's been a while since I've been over here, and since the factory's sort of changed in the way it operates now that science has stopped, I want to make sure that everything's going normally, and I did a couple of tweaks to what cracking plants were on, and I noticed that there's this line here which is completely useless. It's just for delivering coal out into a random patch of grass. Of course, it once delivered to a train that needed fueling, but no more. Then we go over to the coal mining, and you see there's a couple of mining drills run out, and then once I've got rid of all those, I spot that nearly all the mining drills are running at full speed. So what it looks like we need to do is just get a couple more. We actually just get the ones that I deconstructed and build them again in a place where there's actually coal, and these should keep things going nicely for a while longer. There's still that old coal mining thing over there that I used to supply my inventory to manually refill the furnaces back in the day. But anyway, we're on the coal train now, making our way over to the circuit production, though it's taking a ridiculously circuitous route. It took both of the side track bits that are entirely irrelevant. The reason is that this was recorded the day before the update came out that fixed the train pathing so that they didn't make stupid prioritizations. So from any episodes after this one, the trains should hopefully stop doing the stupid stuff where they drive off into the middle of nowhere because they think it's somehow a quicker way, and that should significantly improve how my rail system works. Not that it needs to work that well nowadays, but I do feel like we need a bit more circuit production, which is why I'm doing this here. It looked like the circuits were actually not doing as well as they could do. It might be because I put a bunch of... I think I've done it at this point in the episode. I put a bunch of alien artifacts in to module production to get a bunch more level 3 modules produced. Just because that really puts some pressure on the factory and makes it run super fast and cool and so on. So I've just got all these new assemblers set up, and I've actually run out of the level 1 level 1 efficiency modules for them. So I hop on board the circuit train, make my way back over to the base, and for some reason I don't hop out at this station. I just completely blank that that's where I want to go, and I stay on the train until I get over to the factory, to the other bit, the unloading of ore and such, and then I go back past the other train stop to get to modules and resupply. I don't know what I was thinking there. I must not have been paying attention. But anyway, while we're here, I set up a couple of what do you call them, provider chests to supply me with some modules in future, so that I don't have to wander over and get them, because I'm lazy, and I guess that is what Factorio is about at the end of the day. You're lazy, you don't want to do everything yourself, so you get machines to do it, but you do it in a cool way, and you're ingenious, and I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, we've got all the remaining efficiency modules into the assemblers, which has significantly improved the rate of circuit production, and it looks like the furnaces are coping, but we'll have to see how that goes later, once things have sort of evened out and there's been time for any backups to run down and so on. Anyway, back on board the circuit train once again, make our way back home. This time I get out at this station because it makes sense, and we can go over and continue work on other things. So what do I do now, actually? I forget. I go over to the steel, and I find that it's still completely broken. So what we're going to need to do is make yet more furnaces, so I just decide to make another half a dozen over in this bit, and get them all with efficiency modules, put in some substations for everything. And maybe this will be enough to fix the problem. We've now got a sizable amount more steel production than before. I think at this point we are at double the steel production we were at the beginning of the episode, so that's quite a jump up. And it's not something I expected to be doing at this point. I thought that, what with science production gone, we wouldn't need anywhere near as much production of stuff anymore, but I guess this specific new demand for steel has really broken the system, and we've got to do a lot of work to get it back up to a good speed. But anyway, it looks like iron is still doing alright, but what I decided to do is add yet more steel production in, because it looks like it still isn't enough to keep things going properly. So I added another column on this side, another 8, so we're now up... well, I think we had 16 steel furnaces before, and there's 16 new furnaces right here, and there's another 8 back in the main production. So at this point we are, what is it, 150... Well, no, we are 250 times the amount of steel production we were at the beginning of the episode. But anyway, what I've done is I've added in a bunch more chests for storing the straight rails, because of course we'll need a ton of those, not just one chest full. I imagine there's a very, very long way to go if we're ever going to build a railway all the way around the lake. I wonder how long the journey will take. I wonder, it might, like, a journey of that length might even break the system. I don't know how. Well, I don't know how that would happen actually, but I don't know. It's a very, very long rail network. Someone will have done something like that before, I'm sure, though. Anyway, what I'm doing over here is I've decided that circuit production from the out-of-town facility is now enough that I think we can rely on it entirely, and so what I'm doing is deconstructing the old circuit producing system. Unfortunately, I don't have enough space in my inventory for stuff right now because I have a ton of coal from that belt I cleared out back over at the oil outpost, so I have to go and dump some of that, and then I can get rid of the remaining materials. And there's just a big gaping hole now in the production line that I could just stick something in. I don't know what I'd put there, to be honest. I'd probably think of something. It's near enough to the front of the line that we could actually get some coal delivered down there, so stuff that's coal-based could be produced there, but at the moment there's not that much left in those terms. I guess there's a few sorts of weapons and things like that. I got most weaponry produced in the like a couple of episodes back when I was preparing for the mission around the lake anyway. So we're over at the processing unit production. I've decided to add in yet another couple of assemblers. I don't know if the system can cope with this, but I want more processing units to keep the module production going. So I get that sorted out, and it's probably not going to do any good for the circuit supply because it's only on one side of a belt and there's only so much you can get along one side, so I may need to do some messing about there later to get some more going in. But anyway, we hop on board this the plastic train here, and I unload a bit more of the coal that I have because I need to find places to get rid of it wherever I can. And we'll check up on the levels of the different oil fractions once again to see how they've gone. And it looks like things are balancing out nicely, so I just leave it be. Have a quick inspection of the rate of like plastic production and things like that, and of the coal train. Then I decide to hop on board the coal train to make my way back home. It doesn't actually go home, but what I can do is, as we're passing by, I can just jump out and quickly run away from the train and not get hit by it as it flies off. So that went alright, and then over at the furnaces, everything's looking alright there. What I decided to do is wait around here for the train to Iron Outpost 2, because you may be able to see a couple of chests have run out there, so it looks like the supply from Iron Outpost 2 is running down. What we need to do is get some more from there. And at this point I keep zooming in and out, and I really annoy myself with this because I didn't realise, of course it's a 3x speed, but what I was doing was just looking closer at the trains when they arrived. But anyway, here's the train getting unloaded quite rapidly, at least in the rear cargo wagon. The front one's not so bad because of course everything gets unloaded from the rear first because of the direction of the belts. And off it goes flying down towards the copper outpost. As I said, that should no longer be a problem in next episode because we've now updated the game to the latest version with all the rail fixes. So we're over at the base, and you may notice that in the radar we have there's a biter base right by the pollution cloud, which has sprung up recently. I think that's happened in the last hour, I guess, because at the beginning, well, at the end of last episode, I came back from the outpost and I didn't spot any biters there. Maybe I just missed them, but I guess maybe they can spring up in that shorter time. I'm yet to see a base actually be created in Factorio. I've never actually seen it happen. I've seen stages of it where there's been a cloud of biters and then a cloud of biters with a couple of worms and stuff like that, but I've never actually seen them be generated. I don't know whether it can happen while you're watching or whether it has to happen while you're not there or something. But anyway, we've added in another column of mining drills, and now what we're going to do is go over and kill this base. Because I have no patience for biters. If I hated them before, I hate them even more now after what happened with the lake. At the end of the day, it would have been a nice, if boring, stroll if it wasn't for the biters. And they very nearly killed me and wasted everybody's time. But anyway, they've been dealt with nicely, and I'm going to keep doing that to any biter bases that I consider to be too close to this base. And then we hop on board the train and make our way home, because the supply should be fixed now. If it's not, we can always go back and add yet more mining drills. And also we should probably do some more work on like the Iron Outpost 1 as well, and the Copper Outpost, I guess, because I haven't been paying much attention to those. Anyway, I'm not sure if... yeah, you can't really see it on here, but I believe that there's actually a bit of a problem with ore at the circuit factory at the moment. But I'm going to deal with that next episode, because we're starting to run down time. We have a biter attack up at Iron Outpost 2, interestingly enough, on the side that I just killed that base on, so I don't know where those biters came from, because they didn't come from that base I just blew up. But anyway, someone was angry, I guess, about that. And I don't think they would have run round the side of the base, so I don't think it's the guys from the lake either. But anyway, checking up on everything, it looks like what we need to do is do something about the circuit supply here, because at the moment it's not running quick enough to get all the way along the belt, and I'm not really sure where I'm going to fit in a splitter, so I think I'm just going to leave that till next episode, and I'll work out something there to get some more circuits going down there. Then we go over to steel, check on how that's going, and it's it's enough now. It's actually starting to build up. Hopefully it will continue to build up, though it's hard to say if that will happen, but it looks like it could be because of the limiting factory stone. But anyway, we've run out of time for today, so I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.